To kick off our conversation, I've been thinking about this idea of culture and how important it is to successful organizations. Most of our listeners will have heard of the famed HP way. When you think about culture or when you are discussing it with those you lead, how do you define it? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, what a big topic. Let's just jump right into it. Well, culture we think is, a core part of this thing that we do in business in leadership roles. We like to think about it as not just the what that we are doing, but the how, and also getting to the why. And if you think about what culture is, it's our ability to create the environment and the conditions by which we can accomplish great things as an organization. So while we as leaders define what we need to get done for the business, focusing on how we do it. And you mentioned the HP way, you're right. One of the great contributions of the founders of HP has been the HP way, and it's very much about the how, with integrity and trust and respect, making sure that we are contributing and we're making an impact. A lot of that, again, is the how behind what we do. And we think as a part of what we as leaders must do in our day jobs, we think that culture and defining and demonstrating the how is a core part of that.
Yeah, thanks for delineating that for us. Certainly, in my interviews with four-star generals, when I was talking to them, this was a really important point that they made. It's not just what you accomplish; it's how you accomplish it. It's not only doing the right thing; it's doing the right thing for the right reasons in the right way, and that really culminated in this idea of culture and leadership. Certainly, since he lived in Palo Alto in the last years of his life, you may be familiar with the work of renowned social psychologist Edgar Schein. I don't know if you know him, but he really did a lot of early work on organizational culture, and he studied it and wrote about it extensively. And he wrote what's probably the most influential book on it, Organizational Culture and Leadership, a really popular book. And I think the last edition was the fourth edition in 2010. But anyway, have you ever read that or any of his work?
I haven't read the book. I'm familiar directionally with some of the key concepts, but I actually was reflecting on the fact that when I went to school, I was surprised by a class that I ended up having to take. I was in the engineering department, and I remember one of the classes that was mandatory was organizational behavior. And I was blown away because we were, at the time we were doing engineering and mechanicals and all that. And the whole topic around organizational behavior I thought was going to be the easy class.
Yeah.
Turned out to be the most complex in many ways, the most interesting class, and the one that really personally challenged me a lot to think about. Our jobs are not just to invent and create, which is a lot of what you do in engineering, but it's around creating the environment by which others can do it as well. And so I think and that fits very well with this topic of culture. So that was early days, and obviously that has continued to evolve in terms of learnings as an industry.
Yeah. Well, it probably says a lot about Stanford and the outlook, the culture there, and especially in the engineering department, and the close knit sort of community. Edgar Schein was there, and I'm sure had some influence on different folks there. So kudos for for them thinking about that and so forth. I would say that this work by Schein certainly isn't more academic treatise, if you will. So listeners probably haven't listened to that very much, and so you're in great company, I'm sure. Um, anyway, some of the things that were in there, I was thinking might be valuable is this idea of how leadership is tied to culture. And so early on in that book, he wrote, this is a quote, one of the most decisive functions of leadership is the creation, the management, and sometimes even the destruction of culture. And so that I think that resonates with what you're saying, that it is the responsibility of leaders to create that.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, and we spent a lot of time here at HP talking about the fact that a leader, again, helps to define the what, but creates and demonstrates the how, or needs to articulate it and create the conditions by which other people can deliver on the what. And so culture is a core part of what we think a leader needs to be
Yeah.
or deliver.
Well, I'm curious, Alex, do you have a story from your career where you've had to build and support a strong organizational culture?
I wish it were just one story. It's the day job, Tom. The day job is like culture is our day job. I was thinking about this though. I'll tell you where I got it wrong.
Okay.
My first international assignment early in my career was in France. And so I'll tell you, I moved in the month of August. For those of you who know what it's like to live and work in France or in Europe, you know how busy August is. Not. Secondly, I came as the American. It was my first management role. I didn't know any of the language, and I showed up and I thought my job was all about the what. Here's what I want to get done, and I still remember the first staff meeting where I articulated, here's what we're going to do. I spent the time in August. It was a little bit slower getting all my notes. Here's what we're going to do. And our first staff meeting, when people came back, I said, okay, hi, I'm Alex. Here's what we're going to do. And I asked for any feedback. Nothing. And so we had a short staff meeting. And one of the people in there said, hey, you need to go to the coffee. We had a coffee machine. This is in the late 90s. And so I walked to the coffee machine, and the person had said, just go ask them what they think. And what was amazing is that after 3 coffees that I had, I heard so much. I heard that, hey, Alex, you didn't get to know us at all. You were kind of talking about what you wanted to do. And, over a period of time, I learned that, my job is not just to come in with all the what and all the bright ideas I might have. It's to allow people to have a voice. It's to allow people to be able to feel heard. It's to create the environment where they feel like they were connected to as a person. And again, maybe my first introduction in the wrong way of recognizing that our job in any organization or in the workplace is not just to go get stuff done that's on your mind, but is to collaborate, share, empathize, connect, be authentic, let people be heard and known. And within that, then align everyone to a common mission. So learn the hard way, but I'll tell you, one of the best lessons I had, and that is you don't just come in with your ideas, you come in with learning to connect with others first.